welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to take you through how I got on using brush pens throughout the month of December, which was my personal art challenge. So you may have seen a recent video of mine where I talked about the Etcher field case. I'll link it up in the cards in case you didn't catch that. But I've been using it throughout December to carry a small sketchbook around with me, and then I generally have a small selection of pens in it as well. At the moment, these are the Tombows brush pens and Ecoline that I used for the last spread that I did. I'm going to show you this now. So I've been using this Talon's Art Creation sketchbook. It's 9 centimeters by 14, and I've been using it for a couple of months for my personal project. So you may have caught a video in November where I showed you me using it with just the Pentel brush pen, but in December I started a personal challenge using brush pens because I wasn't really using them, and I thought it would be a good way for me to actually practice. I used a mix of Tombows brush pens, Faber Castells and Ecolines. I started by swatching them all out, and the reason I did that was that I could come back and see what I have at a glance. Now what I didn't do, well, what I started with, you'll see here some of them have little dots next to, because I started initially marking in which ones I'd used so I could see the more frequently used ones, but I got a bit sidetracked and I didn't do that after a while. So I started on the 1st of December by just looking at some pictures of fruit on websites like Pexels and unsplash.com and just using a very limited color palette. I've got the N75, the 192 and the 772, so those were all Tombows. The second was when the snow started to really melt. So again, I used the same color palette and just drew what was outside my sewing room window. These were the puddles of the melting snow on the roof of the canal boat opposite. The 30th of December we went to see a movie, and afterwards we went to a pub called The Cabin, and my partner was drinking a hobgoblin and there was candle. So I quickly drew this, again using a very limited color palette of sorts. And then I used those same colors the next day on the 4th of December. I was actually in bed reading and I realized I hadn't done my drawing for the day. So I grabbed my pack, and which still had the same colors from the day before, and just drew the book that my partner was actually reading, which is Lord of the Rings. I think it was Lord of the Rings. On the 5th we were uptown, so I stopped and drew a picture of the bent outside where we were. It had this really weird industrial light. And then the next day I had a bag of groceries on the chair and I drew that. So again, using the same color palette across the 2 different days for the 2 different pages. And that's why it's great to just have this, because I can put in the colors that I want for one session and take it upstairs or take it out with me the next day, and I know that I've got something that will work. On the 7th I did a video of TJ Marston's Patreon. Again, a limited palette, so we have the blush, the grey, the sanguine, a cool grey and the indigo. I had to stop and think what it was. And I think this is probably one of the better pages throughout the month, but I did add in, you'll see that I did add in some neo colors and a few pencils as well for detail. You may hear some bangs. It's the 31st of December and the Dutchies go crazy for fireworks because they're not allowed them the rest of the year, so they put them in bins and make big booms. This was just a page of scribbling out with my Tombows and potential matching pencils alongside it. You can see here the colors that I was currently loving. Then on the 8th of December I did a little robin, and this was from the Observer Illustrated Book of Birds, and then I just drew a little cat next to it. I feel like this needs more. I didn't finish this. On the 9th of December we went to our local pub and we sat in the back room and I drew it quickly. On the 10th of December I sat and drew our Christmas tree using a different color palette. And on the 11th, again, I was in bed at this time and I was like, oh no, so I quickly drew a tree. Neither are very exciting, I know, but at least I was being consistent. On the 12th, Katie Moody had posted something on Instagram of the inside of a building. I think she was in, I don't think it was Vienna, I think it was in Prague. And I loved it, and I asked her if she would be uploading it to Patreon, but she actually sent me the photo via Instagram, which was really sweet of her, and I drew it out here. I want to do a bigger version because it was so beautiful. And then I found a picture on Pexels on the 13th. I think it was Pexels, it might have been Unsplash, and I just drew that out as well. Here I was experimenting with the colors and smudging them. So these are both, all 3 of these are the brush pens, but I was trying to smudge them to see what kind of effect I could get. And actually I don't think there's anything other than brush pens on this page. On the 14th, I actually started to introduce pencil. Again, I was in bed. I am drawing this page now, and I do like the addition of graphite pencil. You can see again that I have my etcher filled case, and I was laying in bed. I had a sweater on because it was so cold, and I was just drawing what was in front of me. And then the next day, I started off doing like a creepy hand, like a lengthened version of my hand, and it actually became a tree. And I think I looked up like a little house shed in order to get depicted correctly. So ignore this one because I did skip a page. I didn't realise and I had to go back. This was on the 16th again from the bedroom. My partner left for the UK on the 15th, so I had a few days of just like slouching around. I shouldn't say it, but I do. Like when he goes away, it's like, ooh, I can like relax a little bit. And so this is like a pillar in our bedroom and a robe hanging from it and a chest of drawers. And I just drew that in bed because I could. Also, it was during the day, like on the morning rather than at night. Normally, if I'm drawing in my bedroom, it's normally late at night before I go to bed when I'm like, oh no, I haven't drawn anything. So this was actually during daylight, so I could actually see it properly and sketch it out. Then we have two kind of, well, they're Christmassy, but not. So on the 17th, I had gone to it's like a boat Christmassy event here in the North Netherlands. And all the canal boats are lit up and it's beautiful. And you can go on a boat back and forth along the canal. So I did that. And this is a drawing from a photo of that. It was a photo taken at night because it was dark. So I have captured the lights being on in the building, but I didn't put in a night sky because I quite liked the color palette I had already. And then on the way home that night, I had taken this photo of a house window, and so I drew that on the 18th. And you can see both of those. It's a mix of the Tombow brush pens, and then I have put pencil over the top just to add more detail. So on the 19th of December, we have this lovely little pathway in our town, which is filled with Christmas trees and twinkle lights. It's quite magical. And this is a restaurant that is part of that kind of like pathway. So I took a photo and I sketched that on the 19th. And then a quick flick back to the 20th, which is, I realized as I was flicking through that I'd actually skipped a page. So I popped this photo here. It's kind of a self-portrait of sorts. My engagement ring had been finished to actually fit me. So I had gone to collect it, but my partner wasn't here. Or my fiance, I guess. So I had gone to collect it and he asked to see a photo. So I did a photo in the mirror showing the sparkle. And I drew that photo because I thought it would be a nice memory to have. But then we can flick back ahead to the 21st when I continued. And this, again, was in the bedroom. And it was just the lamp beside my bed because it was really late at night and I hadn't done one yet. The 22nd and the 23rd were both photos from Map Crunch. So this one is from Greece, this one is from Macedonia. Again, it's a mix of Tombow brush pens, and then I added in, I think this would have been the Neo Color ones, because I had said about not enjoying using them. I thought, well, I'll do a little bit of them on here and just for detailing and see how I like them. Then we have not New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So Christmas Eve, I tried, it was quite dark and rainy, and my fiance was sat there reading a book. Actually, it was his iPad and he was reading something for somebody else that he promised to give feedback on. So I drew him sitting there, but the light wasn't great. It's okay, it's nothing exciting. It doesn't look anything like him. He does have a beard and he does have short hair, but that doesn't look like him. And then I drew our Christmas Day dinner, which was like turkey, swede, bread sauce I made from scratch. I've never made it and I don't like it, but he does, so I made it. Cauliflower sprouts and a few other things that I didn't draw. And then I didn't really do anything until today, which is the 31st, because I was like, oh, I should probably do one more spread. And it's just a photo. It's a drawing from a photo of my mom, which I did earlier so that I had a finishing spread for the year. So that's my brush pen experiment for the month. I'm definitely more comfortable using them. This one, I actually used the blush Ecoline. I say it's blush, I think it's pink beige, its official name. Pink beige. And I very carefully built up like the tonal value around the face before I actually went in and did detail. And I found that really fun to do. I don't think brush pens as a whole are something that I would use on their own. The beginning section, as you can see, where are we? This one was just brush pens alone. And here and here, I find them quite, I don't know, very felt penny. As if I was doing journaling, fine. But I think if I'm actually trying to do some kind of like arty doodly stuff, I don't think they're quite what I'm looking for. I do, however, love like this one with the pencil detailing over the top. I really enjoy that. I also really enjoyed this one. Again, this is a mix of pencil and Neo Color on top. and these ones as well. So I think there's a place for them in my daily practice. Now that I understand more about how to actually use them and try to blend the colours together, I think I'll be using them more throughout the next however long. I will of course have another personal challenge throughout January, but I'm going to talk about that in a different video just because this one's already plenty long enough, and I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks, so I want to make sure I have enough videos uploaded ready to go while I'm away, so I'm not panicking while I'm away. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already, because I post more videos like this throughout the year. Thank you so much for everyone who has liked a video, watched a video, commented and chatted with me in the comments. My channel has done really well this year, unexpectedly. I started it in March. I have uploaded pretty much every week apart from a couple of times in April and in September when I was ill and away. I think it's just fantastic to have this accountability, and yeah, I thank you all for being here. In the 2024, well, I won't go into it now because there's a separate video for that, but you can expect to see a little bit of the same and a little bit different going into the next year, and hopefully you'll be here for that to experience with me. So thanks again, Happy New Year, and I will see you all in 2024. Take care, bye.